Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to focus on the risk of some pretty severe thunderstorms over the next 24 to 48 hours, especially through Thursday, where it could be very lively indeed. We are going to see a line of thunderstorms developing through Thursday morning, primarily for the Midlands and Northern England, spreading through pretty quickly, but could be pretty dangerous in places. And then we are going to see quite a large area of high risk. Basically, we don't know exactly where those thunderstorms will pop up, but they'll pop up somewhere within that risk area, which looks primarily across parts of central, eastern and southern England. We've got very high levels of Cape, and we are going to be seeing pop-up storms develop, where it means you could be under torrential rain. Frequent lightning somewhere 10 miles away could be seeing 25 degrees and sunshine. So it looks that sort of conditions. Doesn't look like we're going to be seeing massive lines of storms or huge multi-celled systems. What instead we're likely to see is lots of these pop-up storms. Could form into lines at times. They do look very slow moving, especially through the late afternoon. So we'll start by having a look at the live radar, see what's going on at the moment, as we are starting to see that instability building in after very dry and hot last few days. Look at the top temperatures today for interest. We'll have a look at the weather warnings, and then we'll run for the UKV and the Aurora runs, looking at that thunderstorm risk. There is a bit of discrepancy between those two runs, highlighting the uncertainty we have even 12 to 24 hours away from these storms starting to pop off. So do remember, if you enjoyed the video, do like and subscribe. And remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. Now, if you start on the live radar, you can see that we've had a very dry day, but we are now seeing instability moving in, and some showers are starting to pop off. If you have a looked at the Olympics in the last 24 hours, or generally looked at the radar, you can see there's been quite a few severe thunderstorms across parts of France. Luckily, most of these storms have evaded directly impacting Paris, but you can see some hefty storms around. We're not going to see these size storms, but we are going to tap in to that energy and instability. You can already see out to the west and the south, we're seeing some hefty showers starting to take off. Mostly these are French imports, where we have seen showers develop further southwards, and they're kind of dying out as they head northwards, but still holding on to some instability, because that general instability, or that general area of storm risk, is now extending over parts of England and Wales. What we're likely to see this evening, I'm recording this around 10 p.m, but what we're likely to see this evening and through the early hours of Thursday is these showers in the west to form into more of a line of thunderstorms, or generally heavy rain, more likely to be heavy rain with a few flashes of lightning and some embedded storms than just direct thunderstorms. But yeah, could cause some issues, and this is likely to spread across the Midlands and Northern England through Thursday morning. Hopefully most of it clears by lunchtime, but it could linger in a few spots. If you do look at the temperatures through this evening, you can see it's still very muggy across parts of central England. Again, it's been another very hot day. Temperatures widely above the heatwave thresholds. I think now officially we have had 3 days of consecutive heatwave conditions. So officially it is a heat wave now, because that's what we need. 3 consecutive days above those heat wave thresholds. Again, they do vary across the country, but for London, for example, it is 28 degrees, and we have eclipsed that the past 3 days. So officially this is a heat wave, and it's been a heat wave for many parts as well. If the further northwards and westwards you spread, it goes down to about 25 degrees. So the lower end of the threshold is 25 degrees for coastal areas further northwards and westwards, for that east and southern corner where it does generally get hotter, being closer to the continent. It's a gradient up towards the highest amounts of 28 degrees. But for many areas, we've reached those thresholds. So officially now, it is a heat wave. And you can see from the max temperatures today over net weather, this is verified here, widely 29 to 30 degrees today. Not getting up towards those 31, 32 we saw yesterday. That wasn't expected. A couple of the runs, like the UKV, were showing an isolated 31. But mostly sort of 29, 30, and that's exactly what we've seen. So again, as I said, another very hot day. And while we avoid thunderstorms tomorrow, we could see it being this hot again, but I do think it's going to be very hit and miss. Maybe the odd area getting 30 degrees if the storms are completely evaded, but it will depend on the cloud amounts, because even if you don't see a storm, if you see some sort of decaying storm nearby, again, chucking a load of high-level cloud into the atmosphere, then that is going to bring the temperatures down for areas that's not directly impacted by the precipitation or lightning or hail, for example, holding those temperatures back for a more widespread area. So we'll have to wait and see. But the possibility is there tomorrow, and again, it is there for Friday. If you look at the latest weather warnings, we've got this thunderstorm warning issued for much of Thursday. It's not been updated since we last looked at it, so we won't look at it in too much detail, but multiple rounds of heavy showers and thunderstorms are forecasted on Thursday and may lead to disruptions. Again, it's that main area or main line of rain through the morning for northern areas, and then the risk shifts further southwards and eastwards, where we could see multiple batches of pop-up storms developing from around the lunchtime all the way to the early evening time. Could still last through into the late evening, but I don't think there'll be too much initialization of storms. There'll be more storms that carry on. Here we're talking about actual storms taking off. So you can see again, we're looking at 25 to 40 millimeters in an hour or so, maybe 60 millimeters in a couple hours, and you can see a more in-depth description for essentially what I have just spoken about. Again, got an area of showery rain across spreading northern eastwards across Wales, Midlands and northern England. I said that's through the morning, and then we've got again some scattered heavy and thunderstorms develop through the afternoon for central, southern and eastern areas. So those are the main risks. Other areas could see storms even outside of these sort of highlighted areas. So these are the main risk areas, with the warning covering most of England and parts of Wales. Now, to go over to the latest UKV, which has been very up and down over the past couple of days with the thunderstorm risk, and that is because it is very uncertain. These are highly volatile situations, but it's kind of converging on that pop-up storm risk today. You can see through this evening, we see that line of heavy showers and storms breaking out further westwards and really taking off across parts of the Midlands and Northern England, spreading northwards and eastwards before eventually clearing around the late morning towards lunchtime. And then around lunchtime, we start to see thunderstorms breaking out across Wales into central England and then become more widespread during the afternoon, transitioning towards southern and eastern areas. And you can see they don't look like they're going to form into massive lines or massive areas, but where those core storms develop, it could be very severe with some dark reds appearing there, eventually petering out. You see most initialization is done by around 6-7 p.m. and then the storms kind of decay away through the evening. As we head into Friday, it could be another very hot day in the east. Again, could see some thunderstorms triggering there, don't look quite as severe. And eventually we see a cold front sweeping through just with some cloud and rain. And then for Saturday and Sunday, it's looking much fresher, but still reasonably dry, until Sunday evening we start to see heavy rain moving in from the west, unfortunately, where it does look like it could get very rainy indeed, but we won't focus on that, so it's still a good few days away, and hopefully still plenty of hot weather to come between now and then. If you do look at the upper air temperature, you can see it is continuing to be very hot over the coming days with the upper air temperatures. That's fueling those thunderstorms, but still could give some very hot conditions at the surface. But as I said, lots of factors will go into that. Hot conditions remain all the way through Friday, and then into Saturday they get swept away, briefly chillier. Another warm air mass moving in for Sunday, so it could be pretty decent there, Sunday into Monday, but eventually that weather front pushing through again on Monday, giving us cooler conditions. We'll have to wait and see for those temperatures on Monday, because from the looks of this, it could be very warm, but we just looked at the precipitation and there was a lot of rain and cloud around, so it could be one of those where it's very muggy, but it is horrible with precipitation falling out of the sky. Hopefully that rain is a bit delayed or isn't as intense, so we see some sunshine, because if we do, we could be seeing mid to high 20s once again here. Now, I do just want to have a look at the mixed level cape. This is showing the energy within the atmosphere over the coming days. You can see there's a bit of energy through at the moment, but you can see insane amounts of energy across parts of northern France, and that is going to move in through the early hours of Thursday, and then we're going to see some really high levels of cape through central, southern, England through Thursday afternoon. And this is where we could see those really severe thunderstorms breaking out. And you can see it is quite a large area of risk, but as we looked at the precipitation charts, it's just pop-up storms. So this is why it's very difficult to pinpoint where the storms will be, because you see there is a large area of moderate to high Cape, but only a few of the areas within this will actually see some very active thunderstorms. It does degrade away for Thursday. We could see a little bit of Cape in the east on Friday, but nowhere near as severe. And then eventually into the weekends, things start to die out, and you see very little Cape as we head into next week. Now, do look at the max temperatures now. I just want to finish off by looking at that from the UKB. You can see the temperatures this afternoon widely towards the 30-degree mark. As we head into tomorrow, there is the possibility of 30 or even 32 there across central southern England, but much more widely a few degrees cooler because of the storms and cloud. But I still think there is a good chance somewhere it reaches 30 degrees, just nowhere near as widespread. Into Friday, not quite as hot, so the upper temperatures start to drop, but still 27 to 29, still eclipsing heatwave thresholds. And then into Saturday, still could be warm in the east, 25, 26, but nowhere near as hot. And then into Sunday, much fresher overall, more towards the mid to low 20s. For wet Monday, it could be very warm in the east, 26, 27, where we avoid that rain. So you can see under the rain, well, we have the exact same upper air temperatures. It's only 19 degrees, and that just shows you the power of cloud and rain against those upper air temperatures. Now, I just want to finish by looking at the Arome Run, which is a very good model for forecasting precipitation at the short range. It only goes out to 36 hours, so really today is the only opportunity we have had to look at the thunderstorm risk. It is very on and off, I'm not going to lie. It's not quite as intense as the UKV or as widespread with those storms, but it is pretty intense where they do occur. Now, we can see as we head through Thursday, that line of storms appears further northwards, a little bit more delayed, so it develops more towards northern and eastern coastal areas than as further inland. Already a little bit of discrepancy there between the runs. And then as we head into Thursday, a few thunderstorms in the far southeast for the morning, and then they really start to take off during the afternoon. Again, very pop-up in nature, but you can see some really dark reds appearing there, and browns indicating some exceptionally high precipitation rates where those do occur. Same sort of risk area, just not quite as widespread as the UKV was showing. We'll have to wait and see exactly how it does play out. Again, we're kind of guessing now. We know where the risk is going to be, but we're guessing where exactly those storms will pop off. It's going to be a waiting game. We'll have to see what happens tomorrow, but you can see there is quite a high risk, probably the highest risk we've had for a while. I think early June we had some quite high risk of storms. We'll have to wait and see how these do work out. It definitely looks like there'll be storms in places. Just how severe and how widespread is still the deciding factor, because they're, of course, so because they're convective in nature, they're so unpredictable. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure you stay safe tomorrow if you are out and about. These storms can come out of nowhere, and as I said, they could explode into action. So make sure you do stay safe, and I'll see you again for another video soon.